Hey everyone, and welcome. If this is your first time tuning into one of my videos, howdy. And if you've watched some of my other videos, then welcome back. Today, we are going to be reading some crazy Reddit stories while I play in one of my Minecraft worlds. If you would like me to read some of your crazy stories, send them to the email in the description. If there is any way that I can improve my videos for you, please let me know down in the comments. If you like this type of content, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into our first story, which is titled, I Need Advice on If I Was Wrong. I, 36 female, went out for dinner with my boyfriend, 37 male, and my good friend, 59 male. For context, my boyfriend and I do lots of trips, but we don't have any friends besides this one we went out with. I actually work for him. We will call him Mark. While I'm self employed, Mark is one of my customers. We have become really good friends in the past 3 years. I've had him to dinner at my house twice, once when his brother died, and I thought he should have company, and again to watch rugby because both men love it. I just thought would be fun. We have been to a pub quiz together once, and Mark and I went out for lunch 2 weeks ago because he wanted to say thank you for all I do for him. But honestly, Mark does a lot for me too. I know that I'm poor and Mark is very wealthy, but I'm really grateful. If I'm sick and don't want to go to work, he still pays me in full, although there is no reason he should. He gives my children treats if he sees them sometimes, and has paid me extra money when he knew I was going away on holiday to have a nice meal with my boyfriend. When we went to lunch 2 weeks ago, Mark made a reservation at his favorite restaurant. It turned out the booking was canceled as they had staff training and he hadn't got the message, so we went somewhere else. A lot less fancy, but it was lovely anyway. We had a lot of laughs and fun, and Mark insisted on paying. I accepted and said I'll get the next one. He said let's try to go to the restaurant again. And if this time my boyfriend John is available, he can come too. I said, yes, let's do it. We can do the 26th, so Mark booked it. Mark doesn't drive, so we picked him up and went to dinner. We had the best time. The food was amazing, staff was incredible, views 10 out of 10, cocktails were phenomenal, and we all had a great time. When both men left the table to go outside, I paid at the front desk. Mark asked for the bill, and the waitress smiled and said it had been taken care of. I waved it off and said it was nothing. When he was put out about it and I excused myself to go to the ladies' room, Mark texted me saying thank you both so much for my unexpected treat. You're very kind and I had a lovely evening. Nice to spend time with you and laugh and giggle. Always a good sign. Safe journey home and thank you with all my heart. I was happy to do it because Mark is always paying for things and helping people, and just because he has money doesn't mean he shouldn't be treated too, and it is the gesture that means more. This wasn't a huge deal to me because I'm not materialistic. However, the bill was $300, so it shows how much I like him, and as a one-off because my partner and I never go out. It made me feel happy. My boyfriend made me cry in the car on the way home. He said that what I did to Mark was emasculating, doing it when they left the table was underhanded, and it would have been better to argue about who pays at the table, and then added that my suggestion that Mark asks out the waitress was wildly inappropriate. Mark has been lonely and single for 4 years, but he is very shy and doesn't like tech, so I was trying to give him a nudge. But it was inappropriate because the age difference. She looks about 30, so I guess that's maybe true. Paying subtly, I learned from my dad. It was a tactful and less embarrassing way to deal with a bill without making a big fuss over it. I always thought it was charming, not underhanded, but now I can see how I could have been totally wrong. Am I in the wrong? And should I never do that again? Alright, that story is over. My opinion, I do not think the poster is in the wrong. I feel like she felt if she had made him, Mark, feel emasculated, he would have said it in the text. I don't know, maybe that's the boyfriend projecting that since even though he didn't pay, maybe since he didn't pay, he feels emasculated. I don't know. That's kind of a red flag in my opinion for the boyfriend to act that way. Mark pays for a lot of stuff. I mean, pays her when she's sick and doesn't work, pays when they go out in they've paid she's paid for when they've went out in the past, so I think it's fair that she paid for once. And like she said, they're not materialistic, and it was just a kind gesture for someone that's done a lot for her. So I don't think that she's in the wrong at all. I think it's kind that it seems like Mark really appreciated that. But yeah, something about the boyfriend. Kind of a red flag, I can't lie. Maybe he's projecting that he felt emasculated. Not really sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next story. All right, guys, I chose this story because I like the title. Easy as that. It is Kid who mows my lawn tried to gaslight me, so now I mow my own lawn. Something about that title, it drew me in. Anyway, sometime last year, a neighborhood kid came to my door and asked if I needed anyone to mow my lawn. I actually did because I was, and still am, dealing with chronic pain. His rate was $40 for the front and back with weed whacking. My yard isn't huge, but it's annoying to maintain and because of the way the fence is placed. So I told him he could cut it. He always did a great job, so I had him keep doing it for the rest of the summer and into this year as well when the grass started growing. To show my appreciation, I thanked him for his hard work and gave him an extra $5 in early May. 2 weeks later, when he cut my lawn again, I paid him the normal 40. But when I went back inside and went home, he texted me that I owed him $5 more. I told him I already sent him exactly what I owed him, but instead of just saying he's changing his rate or whatever, he lied and tried to gaslight me into thinking it was always 45, as if I didn't have the ability to see my transaction history. After that, I decided to try and overcome my chronic pain and just mow the lawn on my own. I didn't have a super hard time, thankfully. He texted me this week asking if I needed him to mow anytime soon, and I told him that I'd be mowing my own lawn for now. I'm also unemployed, so I should probably be saving the money anyway. Take that, kid. All right, and that story is over. That's a quick one, but I do kind of find that funny. I don't know if that guy's really in the wrong. I mean, I think the kid, I don't know if he thought that maybe he was getting a raise, like the guy wanted to start paying him $45 from that time on. And maybe that's just what he was expecting. If I was in the kid's shoes, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just started taking the $40 again and been like, whatever. But it sounds like the poster had told the kid that, hey, I'm giving you an extra $5 today, and thought that the rate would be going back to the $40. And the kid felt like he deserved the 45 each time. So I don't think the poster's on the wrong, but kind of a funny story. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get into the next story. Alrighty. So the title of this story is kind of crazy. We'll see where it goes, but am I in the wrong for saying my wife wasn't my dream girl in a trivia game? Anyway, so my wife and I have been doing a game night every so often with some other couples via Zoom since we can't go out and see people lately. Also, this was written in 2020, so I'm assuming potentially because of COVID. We were playing this card game the other night that was like basically a trivia game for couples to play, and you are asked a question and you write down your answer, and your partner has to guess what they think you answered. If they guess correctly, your team gets a point. Whichever couple knows each other the best wins. So some of the questions in this version were a little spicy, and one of the questions was, who is your dream man slash woman to have sex with? I wrote down my spin instructor since my wife knows I think she's hot. Oh my god. That's messed up. Anyway, we'll continue. And thought she'd guess her and we'd get a point. Well, turns out every other husband either wrote down their wife or celebrity slash fictional character. My wife was livid and upset. I tried to explain I didn't actually want to do anything with my spin instructor, and I would never even briefly consider being unfaithful. It was just me trying to play the game. She doesn't believe me, saying everyone else's instinct was women who didn't exist, or better yet, their wives. I feel really bad, but also really confused. I don't know how to deal with this. Is she overreacting, or am I in the wrong? Bro, you're definitely in the wrong. Oh my goodness. No, there is no way this man is in the right. Like the other husbands, you either say your wife or you say maybe like a childhood crush or someone you had a crush on in your teen years or currently. Maybe that's a celebrity type thing. Never someone that you actually no, that is ridiculous. He's gonna hear about that for a really long time, and he should probably quit that spin class. Yeah, that guy is cooked for sure. That is probably literally the worst thing he could have said in that situation. Um, I'm reading some of the comments, and they are lighting this guy up. Um, I'm seeing some other people that have unfortunately said something similar, and they have also been cooked. So, yeah, I think he's definitely in the wrong for that one. Anyway, that story is over, so we will go ahead and get on to the next story. Alrighty, guys, this is probably going to be the last story for today. Kind of a quick one. But am I in the wrong for being blunt with my boyfriend about why he isn't getting hired anywhere? I, 26 female, have been with my boyfriend, 29 male, since 2024. We met online, and after a few years of friendship, he had gotten an insurance payout and decided to move to my state for a few months, quote unquote. Well, a few months turned into a couple of years, and the insurance money had run out. Previous to the insurance payout, he had helped his dad with his landscaping business and had had a few short-term pizza jobs like a pizza shop, serving, etc., but no job lasting more than a year. Once he ran out of insurance money, he began to search for jobs.
Alrighty,
He
guys,
quickly
I think
became
that's going to
frustrated
do it
because
for me
nobody was
today.
getting back to him.
But if you
He
like
would
this
often
type of
threaten to
content
give
and
up
enjoyed
and
the
go back
stories while I
to
played a
live with
little
his
bit
parents.
in my
I
Minecraft
am an HR
realm,
manager and hire
feel
people
free to
for my
leave a like.
company
I'd
on
really
a regular
appreciate it.
basis. I
Subscribe
took a look
even.
at his resume and
You
explained that
can't
no one
spell
was going to
subscribe
hire a
without U.
29-year-old who had less
Shout
than
out
five
baby
full
Jamie
years of
for
work
that one. I
experience
appreciate
with
it.
years of gaps between jobs.
um,
He
but
argued
yeah,
that he was
anyway,
applying
if
for
there's any way
entry-level
that I can make
positions,
these
and I
videos
explained that
better
his
for you
age would
guys,
be the
please let me know
downfall.
down in the comment section
It
below.
doesn't matter if it's
I
entry
make these
level. A
videos for
29-year-old
fun.
not
I
holding a
enjoy
job is a
making
bad
them.
look.
But at the
He
same
is now
time, I
stating
make
that I am
them so
insensitive
that you
and
all,
making
the
him feel like
listeners, can
shit
enjoy
for
them.
not being
So
able to
if there's any
contribute enough
way
to our
that I can make
house.
these better for
Though I
you,
have only
let me
asked
know.
of him to help with the
All right,
groceries,
guys. I'll talk to
I
you
take
soon.
care of the rest of the house
Peace.
bills. Admittedly, I think I could have addressed it in a softer manner, but I definitely let my personal feelings get in the way. I love him to death, but feel it's ridiculous that he's lived off his parents for as long as he has and no independence whatsoever. So, am I in the wrong? And then there's an edit. For some added context, I did help him work through his resume. The initial conversation had stopped at this is the issue because he had become too upset to let me help in the moment. It took a couple of hours, but eventually we were able to sit down and fluff it up, so to say. I do not think that this poster is in the wrong. I think there's times to build up your partner, but also times to be real with them. And it doesn't sound like the poster was being rude in any way. She was just calling out the obvious of, hey, you're 29 years old. Hey, your resume shows that you have multiple gap years of no holding no job. And even though they're entry level positions, you're competing with people that probably have a better job history than you and might have the same qualifications. So if they have the same qualifications as this boyfriend does and they don't have any years and years of gap between jobs, they're probably going to get the job. And the girlfriend was just explaining the obvious. So I really don't think that's wrong whatsoever. I think that she was just trying to help her boyfriend out, and he took it in the wrong way. But it sounds like in the end she was able to help him out a little bit and fluff up the resume and hopefully make it a little bit better. But that story is now over. Alrighty, guys, I think that's going to do it from me today. But if you like this type of content and enjoyed the stories while I played a little bit in my Minecraft realm, feel free to leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe, even. You can't spell subscribe without you. Shout out baby Jamie for that one. I appreciate it. um, but yeah, anyway, if there's any way that I can make these videos better for you guys, please let me know down in the comment section below. I make these videos for fun. I enjoy making them.
but at the same time, I make them so that you all, the listeners, can enjoy them. So if there's any way that I can make these better for you, let me know. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Peace.